be an interesting discussion tonight. Sonny, it's good to have you on Sports Tonight.
Sporty greetings, Austin. I buckled my seatbelt for another ride on the Fun Factory. And yes, I should have heeded your warning last week.
Don't get into it so quick. Just stay right there, Sonny. It's ladies first, so let's begin with the women at the United States, the world champion when it comes to soccer for the women. They've planned a victory tour in August, and I also know they will be busy with some friendly matches. Sonny, give us updates.
Well, Austin, the American women have really been on a victory tour since they lifted the World Cup trophy in France. They had a big parade for the American girls in New York City. And now they're going to kind of extend that victory tour with a series of friendly matches here in the United States. They've lined up 3 friendlies for next month, August, against Ireland and Portugal. And the U.S. Soccer Federation says they also have a couple more friendlies scheduled for October against as yet unnamed opponents. But to the credit of the Federation, they've invited all 23 women who played on the world champion USA team back for this victory tour. So it'll give a chance for the American fans to basically cheer for the world champions, deserving winners in France.
This is a well-deserved, Sonny. And that's why they are saying that, look, the men's team, they don't win as much as we do. So if you're giving them $100,000 US, give us the same.
Yeah, I think they have some merit to their argument, Austin. Although, you know, I know FIFA gives different amounts of money, total money for the men's World Cup compared with the women's World Cup, but the American women are on pretty solid footing right now, and they still have not resolved that money dispute with the Federation, Austin.
Yeah, and they don't care. That's FIFA's business. And they're talking about the U.S. Soccer Federation. That's the body that they have business with. They don't care what FIFA is doing. And I stand with the women, Sonny. I do stand with them. Let's play some basketball now. Sonny, the LA Clippers, that's the team to look out for next season.
Well, Austin, I think Los Angeles will really be a hotbed for basketball in this upcoming NBA season. 2 very, very well-publicized teams from the offseason. The LA Clippers just announced, they held a kind of a welcoming news conference for their 2 all-star acquisitions. Kawhi Leonard, who they signed from the NBA champion Toronto Raptors. And I think I really was hoping Kawhi might stay in Toronto, Austin. That was not to be. He has decided to return home. He grew up in the Los Angeles area. And Paul George, also playing for the Clippers this upcoming season. Should be a lot of fun when they play their cross-city rivals, the Lakers, Austin, with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Right now, you know, the Lakers have not qualified for the playoffs in over 6 years, Austin. Wow. So we'll have to see whether they can. Right now, I think the Clippers are the best team in Los Angeles, but you know, a lot can happen. You know, injuries. LeBron missed a good chunk of last season because of injury. So we'll see. But I think it'll be a lot of fun in Los Angeles.
Sonny, were you surprised when it was announced that Kawhi is going to the Clippers? Were you expecting him to go to some other place other than the Clippers?
I guess I thought, Austin, that after basically leading Toronto to its very first NBA title, I thought that Kawhi might stay in Canada to kind of show his love for the Canadian fans. It was not to be. I know Masai Ujiri, the executive for Toronto from Nigeria, really made a strong bid to keep Kawhi in Canada, but he decided to return home to Los Angeles. So I still think Toronto will have a good team next year. Whether they're going to be a championship team remains to be seen.
I know, Sonny. We'll wait for that one. Let's see how it goes. Sonny, when Manny Pacquiao stepped into the ring to fight Keith Thurman, Look, from round one, he knocked down Thurman, and I said, look, I've not seen a 40-year-old boxer give such an amazing performance. His footwork, his speed, everything, the Pacman turned up 100%.
Amazing performance indeed, Austin, and I will eat a generous helping of crow. I know I picked Keith Thurman ahead of that fight, but Pacman was sensational. He looked like a 25-year-old fighter out there, Austin. I could not believe how fast he looked against Keith Thurman. Knocked him down in the very first round, and I think that really gave him the momentum, and it caught Thurman off guard. And then later in the fight, just a vicious body shot to Thurman. And initially, when I was watching the fight, Austin, I thought he might have broken Keith Thurman's ribs, because I could see that Thurman was really favoring that one side where the Pacman hit him. But I had Pacman winning by unanimous decision, not by a split decision. He was just a great performance by Manny Pacquiao. And he said after the fight that he has no sense that he's going to retire anytime soon. He wants to keep fighting. And so we'll see. I think there's a lot of great opponents out there. I saw Floyd Mayweather in the ring there in Las Vegas. Now, whether he would do a rematch against Pacquiao, I don't. If the money was right, I think Floyd would probably lace up those gloves again. But a couple of possible opponents down the road for Pacquiao. Errol Spence Jr. He's got a big fight coming up. But we'll see. I think Pacquiao really. Right now, he's probably the biggest name in boxing, Austin.
I agree, Sonny. And Errol Spence will fight Sean Porter next month. I don't see any of those guys even beat the Pacman. So if Pacman dominates the welterweight division, we will come out here, Sonny. You and I will say a 40-year-old boxer. Wow.
Oldest welterweight champion in history, Austin. 40 years old. And he really, I know Thurman's his nickname is One Time. Pacquiao didn't just defeat one time, he defeated Father Time in Las Vegas.
I know, and I was so ready. Sonny, all through that fight, I was just remembering you, and I was like, oh, I can't wait to speak to Sonny Young. I warned Sonny. I told him, don't look at Pacquiao's age. And I'm glad, Sonny, that Manny Pacquiao did the unthinkable. I love the upset, Sonny. I love it.
Well, one other point, Austin, and I'm not making any excuses for Keith Thurman, but before the fight, I was watching it on the streaming broadcast here in the States. He had his wife in the locker room, and they were hugging right before the fight, and I just didn't think Keith Thurman was focused enough for Manny Pacquiao. I really thought that he should have been a little more fired up and a little more focused about Pacquiao, but Pacquiao deserved to win that fight, no question.
I know, no question, Sonny. Sonny, stay right there, because we're going to go on this quick break. When we come back, the heavyweight division is getting us so much talk. We'll talk about it, Sonny. So don't go anywhere. Stay right there. When we come back, we'll go back to Washington, D.C. to continue the discussion with Sonny Young. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, Sports Tonight on Channels Television. We're taking a look at sporting activities going around the world. Sonny Young is in Washington, D.C. Let's go back to Washington, D.C. Sonny Young is still with us. Sonny, when Dillian White defeated Oscar Rivas to become the interim WBA heavyweight champion, I was super excited because he's been champion at the beat for a period of time for a title fight. Now, today, we heard those talks. Let me read what Deontay Wilder said. Sonny, Deontay Wilder has branded Dillian White a cheat and a donkey of the year, following claims that White has failed a drug test. Sonny, interesting times in the heavyweight division.
Deontay doesn't hesitate when it comes to those fighting words, Austin. Interestingly, I think Andy Ruiz initially, he also was upset by this positive drug test by Dillian White. He said in his first tweet, he said there will be no rematch in the UK, talking about a rematch against Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
And then then he kind of softened his words a little bit. He sent out another tweet saying he loves all the talk in the heavyweight division, and he made it sound like he would be open to fighting in the United Kingdom. But it was interesting how Dillian White has entered this conversation among the heavyweights, Austin, because
I don't know.
We had Deontay, and we had Andy Ruiz and Anthony Joshua, and now White is part of the conversation too.
Don't forget, it was Jarrett Miller that started all of these problems for the heavyweight division. And now Dillian White, look, everyone will be the entire matchroom team will be so pissed if it comes out that this is true, because at the moment, all we have are just claims. But Sonny, you would wonder, do you know why Dillian White is a decent fighter? Why do these boxers, athletes, why do they spike? Why, Sonny?
Good question, Austin. I know Dillian White has fought Anthony Joshua. Joshua beat him a few years ago, but I don't know. I think maybe Wilder is very attuned, because that last guy he was supposed to fight, I think he tested positive like 3 times, Austin. I can't remember that fighter's name, but so now I think Deontay, he has become a very vocal critic about fighters that use performance-enhancing drugs.
Wow. He came out really strong. He went straight at Dillian White. So no wonder you want to fight me. You go spike up yourself and get enhanced and then come to fight the champ. Deontay Wilder has been having fun on social media since this story broke. But let's pay more attention to Andy Ruiz and Anthony Joshua. Sonny, do you know that Ruiz is so fired up? He is so confident that he's going to beat Joshua in the rematch.
Well, if the rematch is in the United Kingdom, Austin, I think that would favor AJ fighting on home turf. And I know one of the places that's been mentioned as a venue has been Cardiff, Wales, where AJ has fought before in front of huge crowds. I think a huge crowd would favor AJ, especially if it's in the United Kingdom. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know in terms of the logistics what kind of say that Andy Ruiz has. I know there is a rematch clause, but Andy Ruiz would like to see the rematch back in the United States. But whether that happens, I don't know. I thought they would have signed the rematch at this point, Austin. There was talk beginning of the week that a deal was going to come soon, but Dillian White and the positive drug test has sort of kind of thrown a wrench into that. But it should be interesting. I think there will be a rematch. But Andy Ruiz, fast hands, Austin, and he's not afraid of any heavyweight out there.
I know. And when you beat the champ and get all those belts, it's good motivation. But fans of AJ, Sonny, they are saying that, look, they don't care. They don't want to know the venue, that AJ should just go for that rematch and beat Ruiz, get back those belts, and then actually stamp his place as the heavyweight champ. That's what the fans are saying.
I think that, if AJ had a rematch at Madison Square Garden again, Austin, or maybe in Vegas, that's another popular fight venue in the United States, he came back to the States and beat Andy Ruiz, that would really say a lot. Interestingly, I did see Andy Ruiz was at the Pacman Thurman fight, sitting before the fight right next to Deontay Wilder, and Deontay seemed he was very cordial and polite to Andy Ruiz. I think Deontay would like to fight him down the road.
Yeah, but Ruiz is a big boy now, Sonny. Sonny, when he defeated Anthony Joshua at the press conference, he said to his mom, "Mama, everything has changed. When you become the world champ, Sonny, everything." Ruiz is a big boy. Goes everywhere now with the limousine, the media, the boss, everyone saying kudos to him. So, I don't know. It's going to be tough for Anthony Joshua, but let's see. Let's see.
And there will be a rematch, but, like you said, there's a lot of talk now about the heavyweight division, Austin.
So much talk. Sonny, I must say thank you. Thank you so much for your time. I can't wait to push you to make another prediction. I cannot wait so that I can come back and give you a good laugh. Thank you so much, Sonny Young.
Always a pleasure, Austin. Have a very good evening.
Same to you. So that's it. The Voice of America correspondent Sonny Young speaking to us from Washington, D.C.